The 70s heralded a new golden age for B-movies, giving birth to exploitation films. The strict Hollywood censorship of the Hays Code had dwindled during the 50s and 60s, due to the success of foreign films that weren't restricted by censorship, and the rise of television eating away at mainstream film-going audiences. A lot of movie directors were starting to push the boundaries of what was considered acceptable, arguably beginning with Roger Corman's House of Usher in 1961, and almost certainly coming to a head with George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead in 1968. Ooh, they're coming to get you, Barbara! And audiences were suddenly being drawn back into theatres with the promise of something they couldn't find on TV. Sleaze, boobs, and gore. Independent filmmakers suddenly had a big opportunity, with cinemas eager to get bums back on seats, and the cheaper and nastier you could bash out a movie, and the more enthusiastic a venue was to show it. One of the most notable foreign exploitation films to make it big in the US was the Italian movie Mondo Cane in 1963. English-speaking audiences had never seen anything like it, and they were shocked. It was the beginning of all the low-budget sleaze and gore that was to emerge in the following decades. The movie was a string of unconnected vignettes depicting animal cruelty, manhunting, bullfights, and, naturally, naked women. The movie sparked a whole mondo genre of shockumentaries focused on taboo subjects and ethnocentric depictions of foreign cultures, which eventually became more and more focused on two things: gore and girls. But despite Mondo Cane's proud declarations that everything caught on camera was real, a lot of it was actually staged and or faked. Maybe this was the first found-footage horror movie. Well, personally I think Mondo Cane is a bit too far removed from what we'd recognise today as a found-footage horror movie. Its focus was on titillation rather than on horror, and on showcasing the taboo rather than on showcasing scares. It had no story or plot, and even when it was claiming the footage was genuine, it was still them filming what they'd specifically set out to film. It's kind of a fake footage documentary, and I think of it more as found footage adjacent. But it was the Mondo genre where the first true found footage horror emerged. In 1977, Italian exploitation filmmaker Ruggero Deodato released his magnum opus, the sensationally titled Cannibal Holocaust. The movie opens with a warning that everything you're about to see is genuine footage recovered from a team of documentarians that went missing in the wild jungles, and part of the way through the film, there's even a filmed conversation with the film's producers about whether or not the most grueling and gory parts of the found footage should be edited out of the final product for public decency. The recovered film reels show the fate of the filmmakers at the hands of a cannibal tribe. At first, they're just filming the natives raping women and murdering other tribesmen, but then they start to get involved themselves, killing animals for fun and setting fire to villagers in order to get more shocking footage. Eventually, they're killed one by one and fed to each other by the cannibals, who stuff the camera equipment into one of their corpses for safekeeping, where it's finally found by the crew's recovery team. The film was so convincing that nobody could tell who was responsible for the deaths, and Deodato was arrested and brought to trial for murdering his lead actors, where he revealed, of course, the entire thing was pre-scripted, faked fiction. Like the Blair Witch Project having to show off its actors to the public so many years later, Ruggero Deodato had to summon his actors to the court for his defence to show that they were still alive. Even after all that, the judge was still dubious that the film's shocking iconic scene, a woman impaled on a vertical pole, could have been achieved with non-lethal effects. And so he ordered for Deodato to recreate the scene right there in the courtroom in front of him. Oh man, the court case is more entertaining than the actual movie. Well, Deodato did it, revealing that the shot was achieved by an actress sitting on a bike seat mounted to the base of the pole, and then holding a balsa wood top of the pole in her teeth and tilting her head back. Incidentally, it's this kind of thinking that I feel modern Hollywood is missing out on with its reliance in CGI. In the end, the charges against Deodato were dropped, though he did get in trouble for the genuine animal deaths included in the film, an aspect that he's since expressed regret over, saying that it was gratuitous and cruel. And there, I think, you have it. Cannibal Holocaust, the first true found footage movie. All the elements are there. Filmmakers wandering into the woods where a terrible fate befalls them, only for their film reels to be discovered by others who present them, uncertainly, to the world. Of course, presenting fiction as fact stretches back further, even before cinema. There's an entire literary genre of epistolary novels that present themselves as collections of letters, such as Dracula, or transcribed conversations relaying true stories, such as Frankenstein, which takes us back 200 years. And even then, there's Greek and Roman mythology, which was presented as equal parts fact and fable, but after a certain point, you're just talking about history of fiction itself. Tracing it all back to the very beginning has taken us a while, but there's still one thing left to discuss, and that's the future.